All right, so again, he's going to probably peek his head over every now and then just to see if there's any new comments, specifically if there's technical issues. But we're going to get started. So have a blanket, more or less, that's for kneeling to give your knees some support and comfort. And prenatal yoga, it's just a, I think YouTube may have just kind of stopped. It's just a gentler style of yoga, but we're going to keep the strength building aspect to it during my classes just to make sure that you're getting strong and prepared for labor. All right, so let's get started on your mat. There was just a connection. So just have your blanket handy. Whether you use it is going to be up to you. We do a lot of hands and knees in prenatal. I'm not going to cue you to ever use your blanket, but you can use it whenever you'd like. Again, I'm not teaching a class with blocks just because you might not have them at home. I've got them here, but I'm not going to be using them. And then if you have a larger pillow, you can kind of set that aside. So we're going to start on hands and knees, and I want you to just spread fingers as wide as you can. Feel the full base of the palm, each finger pad pressing into the mat, and then have your hips directly over your knees, but your knees can definitely go wider now in prenatal if that feels a little more comfortable. And we're going to work right into the breath. So I want you to hug baby a little higher towards the ceiling, press the mat away from you, tuck your chin, big breath in, and exhale. Find your cow pose. You're going to let baby drop, lift chin, lift tailbone, and then move between those two. So you're going to find the breath in your cat-cows, and I want you to focus on the movement of your pelvis. So finding that true anterior and posterior tilt. And I don't usually cue the breath a ton in prenatal. I want you to start focusing on your breath. So controlled inhales and exhales. And just start to become one with the breath and this movement. You can continue exactly as you are, forward and backward with this motion, or you can start to find some lateral sway. So the hips can go one direction and then the other. The gaze can also follow the hips, or it can go in an opposite direction. And just take the next few moments to move around. Just feel. What are you feeling in your body? What feels tight? What feels good? And then you'll take a pause at center. Let the knees go a little wider. We're going to drop the heels, the hips down towards the heels for your first child's pose. So traditionally, you're reaching the arms long and bringing the forehead to the mat. But now that you may be having a belly, you might want one of your pillows where you can rest the forearms down and give you a little bit of lift off of the legs. You could also rest on your forearms and let the head go. If there's something for the forehead to rest down on, I do suggest that so you can get some of that grounding energy. And even though you're resting in this child's pose, I want you to find full breath, deep breath in, deep breath out. And let's come back to your tabletop hands and knees. So this movement can be nice and slow. Control the movement. Find a comfortable distance between the knees again and ground the palms down. This time we're going to step your right toes all the way to the back of the mat and really press the heel backwards, trying to press the heel down towards the mat and see if you get a nice stretch along the back of the calf. And then notice your belly button, how gravity is kind of taking a hold and allowing baby to drop towards the mat. Try to resist that. Hug baby a little higher into your belly. Feel the back get a little stronger, almost as if you're pressing the back towards the ceiling. Now we're going to take this right leg, hover it off of the mat. Really press strongly, breath is full. And then that left arm can reach out in front of you if you would like. If that is ever too much for you, lower that left hand back down. I want you to focus on the breath here. Strong center body, strong back, and a very active, strong breath. All right, great job. Bring that left hand back down. Drop the right toes to the back of the mat. You might kickstand this left shin a little wider so you can drop the right heel down at center. And now let's unload this right arm all the way up towards the ceiling and circle that wrist out. Reach that right arm up and then allow it to almost fall behind you. So you get this big opening through your chest, maybe all the way into that shoulder and your bicep. And then take that right arm, reach it back up, and now scoop underneath you. So it's almost like you're reaching for the wall behind you. And then with the breath, inhale, we go up and a little back. And the exhale, once again, takes you underneath that left arm. So finding your breath here with the movement. And I'll always give you the option, if you find a pose where you feel just a little bit stuck somewhere in the body and it feels like a really good stretch, hang out there for a couple extra breaths. Next time that right arm is straight up overhead, take a pause. And then reach that arm out in front of you. So the arm along the ear. One more big stretch. Fingertips are reaching one direction. Heel pressing down the other. And then let's return to tabletop. Right hand down, right knee down. Give that left wrist a nice circling now. And take it one step lower down to the forearms. Once again, knees can go wider if that's more comfortable. We're going to just be here. Hands can stay wide or you can softly interlace. Let the head hang down. So this time the head is likely not touching the mat, and that's fine. Allow that release for the head, the neck. And then right at your center chest, your heart, just let the heart drape all the way down towards the mat. So not holding on. And last thing, let baby go, let belly go, and just rest in this nice shape for the low back. So for my sciatica friends, this is that shape, that opening to the sacrum and the low back that can feel really nice for that sciatic nerve. So imagine your sits bones can just lift and spread up towards the ceiling. And everyone's just going to take some deep, full releasing breaths here. For the last few moments, feel free to give some swaying of the hips side to side. And then carefully make your way all the way back up to your hands and knees. Find your tabletop. From tabletop, downward facing dog. So you'll tuck your toes under, allow the hips to press towards the ceiling, and take these few first breaths to walk it out. To bend into one knee deeply as the opposite heel rests down. Give the head a releasing shake or nod. Allow the knees to cross midline. There's really no right or wrong. So if I have any non-pregnant people in this video today, this next piece, the quote-unquote vinyasa, is going to be the most different part from a traditional class. So let's all walk the feet a little wider towards the edges of the mat, bend the knees and walk the hands backwards. So this is your forward fold. Elbows will rest on the thighs, allow the head to be heavy, but you are working the shoulders so that they're away from the ears. So the back is still strong here. Let's come up halfway. Press the hands to the thighs. Find straighter arms, starting to gaze out in front of you now. And then let's take it all the way up to standing. So the feet can stay wide, or you bring them a little closer in. They don't have to touch anymore. Big breath in. Reach the arms up as high as you can. And then exhale, hands to heart center. And do 2 more of those. Find your breath. Find slow, controlled movement. And then focus on the rooting down of the feet. Bring a little more weight into the heels and sit the hips back into your chair pose. Notice if it becomes a little too pinchy at the low back, you can always take it a little forward. Hands can be at heart center. And then we'll find some more movement. Inhale, straighten the legs, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, sink back down into that chair pose. Inhale takes you up. And exhale to that chair. Take between 3 to 5 more rounds of these. Finish off that final round you are in. We'll all meet in one more chair pose. You've got the option to keep hands at heart, or for more shoulder and arm activity, they reach up overhead. Listen to your body. If the fingers ever become a little too tingly, rest them back at your heart. Strong legs, deep breath. Take another big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Then standing, inhale, big reach up. And hands to heart, exhale. Let the feet go a little wider, and we'll take it back down to dog. So right back up, breath in. Take your fold, elbows at the thighs, give the head a shake. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. And exhale, return, downward facing dog. Take your walk out. So the feet are wide. You can bring them more to a traditional down dog stance. And you can always find some pedaling and movements in this downward face. Lower the knees down to the mat. So find your tabletop position, something that's working in your body. And then step your left leg back. Toes to the mat, pressing the heel backwards. Then taking that left leg, let it lift to about hips height. It doesn't need to go super high in the air, just something right in line with the hip, maybe even a little lower. Take all of the center body, give it a hug up. And then if you're with me on the right arm reaching out, as if you're shaking somebody's hand, you can do so. But at any point, you can keep that right hand grounded. Press that left foot back, feel a strong leg, a strong glute, and focus on the breath here. Don't lose that strong inhale and strong exhale. And then with your next exhale, lower that right hand down. Drop the left toes at the back of the mat. You can kickstand right shin a little wider. Drop the left heel at center. And now open left arm up. Circle that wrist out. Allow that left arm to fall behind you. Find that openness through the chest, the bicep, maybe even your wrist. And then that left arm up again. Now let's take it underneath you, almost like a threading of the needle, but we're definitely not going that low. Inhale, draws you up and open, and then exhales, more of a twisting closure. So again, starting to work here with your breath. There's no such thing as too slow or too quick of a breath. Find your breath, your pace. And if you found that kind of stuck spot that feels really good, take another couple of breaths there. And then the next time that left arm is straight up overhead, let's reach it past the head. So past the ear, out in front of you, and a long stretch from fingertips down to heel. Take a gaze down and now return to your tabletop. You can give a wrist release on that right hand this time, a little circle and spin around. And then to get off of the hands, we'll take it once more down to the forearms. We're going to find a lot more movement in this forearm tabletop. So you can interlace softly the hands out in front of you. The palms grounded could be an option, but I think it's a little easier on the shoulders when you find the interlace. So you can hang out here finding some cat-cows for the first few rounds. Again, moving the pelvis anteriorly and then posteriorly, and finding the whole movement of the spine, kind of going between concave and what's the opposite of concave?
Convex.
What?
Convex.
Convex. All right, I knew I brought him in here for a reason. It's just two different kind of C shapes. You want to find that movement in the spine completely. And then we're going to find hip circles. These usually feel really nice for those hips that are finding a lot of movement and shifting during pregnancy. So you can draw these circles as large as possible. You can go backwards, forwards. It doesn't matter which side you go to first, but imagine there was a pencil on one of the edges of your hips, and I asked you to draw as big of a circle as you could with those hips. Now, linking this movement with the breath, you could take a full inhale, drawing one full circle. You might take a full inhale to just draw half a circle and then finish off with the exhale. Whatever breath you're finding, try to keep it rhythmic and matched with your movement. Thinking about finishing off your final circle or taking one more. And then we'll begin to go in the opposite direction. So the hips either swinging forward or backward, but drawing the opposite circle. You can let the head hang nice and heavy here as you find this movement. And again, focus on what the hips are doing, how the pelvis is moving, making space in the outer hips, the low back, getting some strength in the shoulders if you're really passing forward enough. Thinking about finishing off the final round, you're in here. And then we're going to stay with high stack hips. So especially for my mama who said sciatic stuff. This is a really nice shape for the pelvis and the hips and the back to be in to help relieve some of that pain. So this is going to be your high hip child's pose. We're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees. And if this feels pretty good, you can let the head go. Otherwise, you can walk the arms out in front of you and the forehead could come down to your pillow or it could come all the way down to the mat. If the head is all the way down on the mat and the arms are feeling a little too much of a stretch, bend into one elbow and rest the forehead on that palm. So don't be shy here, especially you're in your own home. Try to really feel that space being created between the two sits bones, right at the points that, directly in your butt. You want to find space there. If you've got one elbow bent, you can straighten that arm and then bend into the other. And then if you have that elbow bent, you'll straighten. And let's all take it back nice and carefully. Return to your tabletop hands and knees. So you can take a moment to just straighten each leg. We've been on the knees for a little while. And then prepare for your downward dog. So the hands nice and firmly planted out in front of you. Tuck the toes. Let the hips rise. Feet at a nice comfortable distance. And you can pedal, shake, and sway it out for a few moments. And you can step the feet a little wider. Let's take it back. Walk the hands towards the feet so the elbows can rest on the thighs. Let the head be heavy, but a strong back still. So find some space between shoulders and the ears. Hands to the thighs, come up halfway, and then all the way up to standing. So again, the feet can now return to a comfortable distance. If you happen to not be pregnant, feet can come all the way to touch. Otherwise, you can keep some space there. So you can stay at the back of the mat. I'm just going to face forward so that you can see me a little easier. We're going to find another one of those chair poses. So we're going to get into some twisting with your chair poses. Twisting totally fine and safe during pregnancy. Just don't think about trying to find your deepest twist. We're just finding this nice rotation of the spine. So with the feet planted, you'll bring a little more weight into the heels. Soften through the knees. Find your chair pose, Utkatasana. Just traditional hands at heart for a moment. All right, then we're going to let the arms lift out and wide like a T shape. Try to spin the palms to face up, and then imagine those thumbs could touch all the way behind you, and take a twist over towards the left. Keep breathing, come back through center, and now take a twist towards the right. So that left thumb reaching back. We're going to move between these two. So inhale, let's bring the arms to center, chair pose. Exhale, take your twist to the left, arms wide. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, twist right. A little more dynamic, you can straighten the legs on the inhale up. Exhale to that twist left. Inhale, up. And exhale, right. So we'll take a few more rounds here. Find the poses that are working for your body, the breath that's working for your body. And then we'll all meet back at center, standing tall, reaching up, and then hands find heart center. I'll wait an extra beat in case you're finishing it off. And we'll do a little bit of balance from here. So the arms are going to reach up. Good. Right palm faces the ceiling. Left hand's going to circle that wrist, draw up, and you're going to side lean over towards the left. Both feet are super grounded evenly to start. Option to go further is take a lean into that left, further off the mat. And this is perfect place to stay. If you want to feel that balance, those right toes can flow off of the mat. Strong breath and a very strong left leg. We'll all meet back at center. Let the arms cross behind you. Take a hold of opposite elbows. And you can give the shoulders a shrug and a glance side to side. Just releasing the neck and shoulders. And then to the other side. So big reach up. Left palm flips to the ceiling. Right hand will circle, lengthen that left side, and then take a dive over to the right. So we're starting with both feet planted down to get that stretch along left side. And then you can lean into right foot and step the left toes wider. You may be able to get a little more length. And then balance is letting those left toes fly. It's an option. You do not have to take it, but don't let the breath stop here. Land that foot down if you're still there. And once more, let the arms rest behind you. Take a hold of opposite elbows. Give the shoulders a shrug, a shake, a release of the head and neck. All right, let's take a walk all the way to the front of the mat. So you are going to face forward. Hands are going to find your hips. And then take that left foot and just comfortably, or not your left foot, take your right foot, step it back. We're going to come into your warrior two from here. So the right toes are going to open more towards that long side of the mat. You can have a pretty big distance between the feet. And if you want to do that, you just heel toe, and then that left foot can go a little wider. Left knee is now going to bend, and the arms are going to extend nice and wide. So you can gaze forward over those left fingertips. Soften the shoulders here. And anytime we've got a nice lunge and a deep bend in that front knee, you're getting leg strength, but also that pelvic floor strength. Let's move with the breath. Breath in to re-straighten that leg, palms meet overhead. Now on the exhale, drop that right hand down and take a little lean up and back. Inhale takes you back, arms wide, and exhale to that warrior two. So inhale, let's straighten everything up. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, this is reverse triangle. Inhale, back up. And exhale, warrior two. Let's go once more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And warrior two. Pause here. And then that left hand can find left knee, right arm up and over. So this would be your most supported side angle pose. Normally, I would suggest that left hand can come all the way down to a tall block. Another option, left elbow can be on your right thigh. And that right arm can reach up or past that ear. So this is that similar shape we found in your tabletop. And let's take it all the way back up so that left hand can guide you back up. Find that straight leg, hands to hips. And now we're going to heel toe, those right toes to face in. Or not right toes, left toes in. So once you've got all 10 toes kicked in, Now let's let the heels kick in, all 10 toes out. Bend into the knees. We're just gonna do some dynamic tall squats here. Hands find heart center. So with your next inhale, let's reach the arms up, straighten the legs, big breath in, do all the way up. Good, keep it going. Exhale, sink down. Slow and controlled. Purposeful movement, purposeful breathing. And then the next time that you have bent knees in this variation of goddess pose, we're going to hold there. Strong, strong bodies here. Toes are pretty light. A lot of weight is in the heels. You might even close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that, really feeling the sensation in the feet, in the legs. Take a couple more deep breaths. You are strong. You've got strong legs, strong body. And then next inhale, big breath in, straighten everything up. Keep the legs straight and maybe sigh that exhale out as hands find heart. Heel toe, the feet closer together. And now let's face forward to the top of your mat again. So we're going to take that going the opposite direction. I'm just going to switch facing this way so I can still see the screen and what's going on there. So hands to hips. Let's take that left foot now and step your left foot comfortably back. You can always heel toe it a little further. Right foot can go a little wider to accommodate some space. And then bend right knee. Arms will extend. So this is your warrior two, Virabhadrasana B. Try not to hug the shoulders into the ears. Get nice and heavy with the shoulders. And then gaze forward. A lovely pose to feel the deepness of the inhale and exhale, feeling lungs expand and contract. And then let's straighten that right leg. The arms meet overhead. To reverse your triangle, now that left hand just light on that back leg and a little lean up and back. Then with the breath, inhale, left arm back up overhead, and exhale, warrior two. So smooth breath in and movement. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, center. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last round. Lovely. Inhale takes you back up. Hands to heart center. Let's take these, or hands to hips. Right toes can face in, so you might be facing away from me. If that's a little too uncomfortable for you, feel free to turn around so you can face, your screen, but you shouldn't need to. Just kind of listen to how I'll guide you through. So the heels are going to set in again. We've got that goddess alignment with the feet. And then we'll bend into the knees once again. You can surf side to side and up and down to find that comfortable pose. And now we'll find that true goddess. So cactus the arms at 90 degrees. And you can have a little lean forward if it's a little much on the low back. Toes are very light, so feel the weight in the heels. Try to press the arms back. Get broad through the front of the body. And breathe. If anything happens in this pose, let it be the breath. Big breath in, straighten up, and you might once again sigh it out. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands find the hips once again, heel toe the feet closer together. And now let's all return to the back of the mat. and reface forward. Let the feet go wider, and let's take a fold. Breath in takes you up. Exhale, elbows to the thighs. Give a nice breath in and maybe a sigh out of a release here. Some movement around head, neck, shoulders. You can even rock further into one knee as the opposite leg straightens. Look forward to the top of the mat. Hands drop back down, and let's return downward facing dog. Again, the feet can come a little closer together. Find some pedaling movement. And then let's come all the way down to hands and knees. You're going to let the feet shift over towards the right side of the mat, and your hips are just going to fall right into center. So you stay where you are. I'm just going to turn to face forward. So the feet splaying off to the right, you're going to feel asymmetrical in the sense that you're leaning over towards the left, and that's fine. Right hand is going to walk off the right side of the mat. So if that feels really far away, you can have your pillow there to reach for the floor. And then a big side body opener. Reach that left arm all the way up and over. So you've got this C curve from left fingertips down the side body to left hip. Reach the left arm up for the ceiling, and now all the way behind you. So the palm can spin up towards the ceiling as if you're kind of holding a serving tray. Reach all the way back, relax that shoulder. And now take the left arm up and almost a fold forward as if you're reaching over past the feet. And we're going to do that diagonal line. So inhale, straight up and back. And exhale takes you more forward in that fold. Find your breath. Move between those. And then that left arm will return up overhead. Land it down off the left side of the mat. Turn to face slightly forward. We're going to straighten through this right leg, so you can use the support of the hand. It's not right out in line from the hip. You can have it a little open towards the side. So you've got this half straddle kind of pose, this seated tree pose. A little bit of a turn over towards those right toes. Sitting up as tall as you can. We're leaning in just a bit for your forward fold. The hands can walk towards the sides. A little bit forward. Strong breath here. And for the last breath or two, really draw those right toes back towards your face so you get a nice active stretch. You'll be activating that right thigh to work and stretching underneath the right leg, your hamstring. Sit up tall again. The right hand is going to slide inside that right leg, left arm up, and you can take a seated twist here. The left arm can stay reaching back, or it can touch down all the way to the mat to give you some support. And then face forward again. We're going to now straighten that left leg and draw the right foot in. We're going to come to that mermaid pose on the other side. So Both feet are going to tuck off towards the left side of the mat, and you'll feel that left hip higher than the right one, which is totally fine. If you used a pillow on one side, you can take it over to the other. Left hand is off by the feet, right arm, big reach up, and we'll get that lateral stretch leaning into that left hand, reaching the right arm up and over. And then right arm straight up. Let's now reach the arm behind you. So palm spun up, relaxing that shoulder. Right arm straight up again. And it's almost a turn over towards the left as you reach that arm towards and beyond the feet. And then dynamic movement. Inhale, so we're drawing a big diagonal line behind you. And exhale takes you forward again. So always working with your breath. Right arm back up towards the ceiling, finishing off that final round. And then you can drop that right hand wide. So we're going to straighten just that left leg now, not directly out from the hip, a little open towards the side. And that right foot might plant or be close to that left leg. Finding the forward fold to start. Less about how deep you can go and angling for those toes, more about staying nice and strong, sitting up as tall as you can. Take a slight turn over towards the toes, and then you're going to lean into it just a bit. Left toes are drawing back towards your face. And find some deep breath. Walk yourself back up. Left hand's going to slide inside left leg, right arm up, breath in, and the exhale to take it into a twist. Right arm can stay lifted or it can tent down behind you. Sitting up tall, no matter the arm variation you have, and see if you can still flex those left toes back towards you, getting some work in that left leg. And then reface forward. So scoop underneath that left leg, bop that knee up so the foot is planted near the edge of the mat, and then allow the right foot to meet it. So you've got both knees bent, pretty wide with the legs. No, thank you, Zoe. Hands, hands behind you. She loves elbows for some reason. Hands behind you. You can have fingertips facing back or fingertips facing in. It doesn't matter, whatever feels right for your shoulders. And then let's drop the knees towards the right. Try to lift that left hip up. Get a nice stretch alongside body, a little twist. Back to center. And then take it the opposite direction. So we're just kind of windshield wiping the legs with the breath. Inhale, center. And then exhale, you're dropping to either side. Take your final round. Then we're going to set up for a very final pose before your rest. So because this was kind of a short planned notice for class, all I asked you to have was, a basic pillow and a blanket. So have those things nearby so we can use those for rest. If you do have blocks and you know the seated upright pose for rest, you can take that. But we're going to start with a little twisting to end class. So we'll come down to your right side to start. Now I want you to really bear in mind that I don't want you to use a lot of your core muscles, those ones right at the top, your rectus abdominis. I don't want you to use those to come down. So what you do is take a little side lean over towards the right, plant the hands down, and your hands are going to walk you all the way down to that right shoulder, and you're going to be on the right side of your body for just a moment. The knees can stay bent, or that bottom leg can go long, the top knee over. You can kind of listen to the legs and see what feels best for you. The right arm can rest underneath that right head. And then the left arm, reach that arm up overhead, and then you can find your twist as you allow that arm to drop down. And then you can take it forward again on that exhale. So it's a little bit of a lullaby. You can just open that arm up and fold it then back over. A little further to the shoulder, and I feel is a lot nicer, is you can draw this big circling with the arm. So it opens up and then you close the circle off, coming around again. So no matter the variation you're taking with the arms, find that movement with your breath. And then notice if you prefer the shape where you are laying on your side, or if you prefer the shape when that left arm is all the way open to the side. And just take a couple of breaths in whatever shape is speaking to you. So then, no matter what you have, we're going to continue rolling over onto your left side. So you can take a very brief moment coming all the way onto your back, kind of shuffle yourself around so that you are now laying on your left side. The left arm can act as a pillow now underneath the head. The knees and the legs can take the same shape you were just in. And now the right arm is the arm that's going to be reaching out and over with that simple side to side motion. Otherwise, you can take those arm circles, deeper movement around in the shoulder. And that linking of the breath continuing here with this movement. So if that Instagram cut out, I don't know when it did. Hopefully you're able to get to the other side of these arm circles. And now since you are laying on your left side, this is where we are going to end class. So if you've got that blanket, you could use it underneath your head as a pillow. You could also wrap yourself up in it. And the pillow that I asked you to take, You're going to lengthen that left leg long and then hug that right knee over and support as much of that knee all the way down to the ankle to lay on your left side for rest. So I'm going to end the class here. Just know that you can lay down for as long as you want. Take a nice deep snooze. I usually give my moms at least 5 minutes of rest in this Shavasana. Just don't feel rushed to get up. I want you to be able to close your eyes and really find some deep relaxation. I think it's one of the more important poses of class is getting you into Shavasana at the end to get that calming energy. So again, I am holding this live class because not just one, two of my studios have closed due to Corona. I'm going to keep this weekly class happening, this live stream, as well as other classes. So you can keep tuned to this Instagram. I'm hoping that this is a way to offer classes to people who aren't able to leave their homes or who are a little bit stuck at home. And all I ask in return is a small contribution from you. You kind of know what a yoga class costs. You're at home, so it's a little bit different. An electronic payment is a really great way to show me that you enjoyed the class and that you'd be interested in continuing forward with them. So I've got Venmo and PayPal that I'm going to keep open at the screen. I'm going to leave the screen up for a little while. Feel free, although, to just close your eyes now, take your rest, and I'll see you hopefully next week. Take it easy, everyone. Shoot me an email if you have any questions or comments about how the class went. It's altyogini@gmail.com.
Got a question for you. So it says she paid the studio for the class. Will you get any of that? Probably not. Somehow. But look.
Leave me your email in these comments and I'll send you an email.
actually.